What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Cold Takes from the Land.
Cold Takes from the Lane, where you get the coldest takes from the hottest Cleveland sports fans.
It's time for playoff motherfucking baseball, baby. How you feeling?
Oh, yeah. I'm feeling rock hard right now, and I'm ready for Saturday to come, although I can't watch the game.
Damn.
I'm kidding.
Listen.
No, I'm feeling optimistic, man. I kind of like this matchup. I was very much so rooting against the Astros, as every fan does that doesn't live in Houston. Those cheating bastards. So I was glad they lost. Although the Tigers are playing really well, I think we've played pretty good against them this year. So it'll be an interesting matchup. This is also the first time, apparently, we have played Detroit in the playoffs.
Oh, really?
Yep, being
I did not know
AL
that.
Central rivalry. So, yep, out of 2,100 and odd some games, this is the first time we've matched up in the playoffs.
That is interesting. I did not know that. But yes, the Guardians open their series against the Tigers this Saturday at 1 o'clock. And I'm very excited for this. And, you know, we've been waiting for this moment. And for a little bit there, we were a little worried. But, you know, the Guardians caught fire again. And they're firing in all cylinders, as are the Tigers, as they head into this matchup. And we have the luxury of having that bye. So we've had, what, like a full week pretty much without having to play any baseball?
Yeah, we were supposed to play Sunday, but got rained out. So by the time we play, it'll be 7 days.
Yeah, and it's already, at least according to ESPN, Tanner Bybee will be pitching, which I kind of expected. I figured it was going to be him or Lively. I'm excited to see how he does. How do you feel about his matchup against the Detroit Tigers?
I honestly have no idea what to think about Tanner Bybee starting. I mean, he's been very up and down all season, as has our starting pitching. So, I mean, I want to say he's been the most consistent because Ben Lively kind of fell off in that last month or so of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So I like him starting. And thankfully, I don't think Skubal is pitching game one because he's their ace by far, the guy that's going to win the Cy Young, I think, over Emmanuel Clase. So I like our chances. He just needs to get through the first, 2 innings because he has struggled in the second inning before. He struggled in the first even a couple times, but we need at least 4 or 5 strong innings from him. I think he can do it, but, I mean, you never know what you're going to get with him. It's like freaking Two-Face flipping that damn coin in the hospital bed.
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying in the last video we were talking about the guards, you know, luckily, because of how strong our bullpen is, if we can just get 5 strong innings out of Bybee, maybe even 6 if he's playing really well, you know, you can comfortably leave it to this bullpen to finish out a game. So overall, I feel like as long as our pitching doesn't, it's almost like a bend don't break defense in football. As long as nothing disastrous happens, you're not giving up a bunch of dingers. You know, if you can just, you know, manage the game and, you know, pitch around the power hitters, and, you know, I know it sounds very basic and bland, but it's kind of just how it is, since we don't have Shane Bieber. So I feel like Bybee, when he's pitching, you know, at his potential, though, he is really damn good when he's on. He just definitely has his off moments, like you said, early in games especially.
Yeah, I mean, he has a chance to really go out there and dice him up. Thankfully, with Detroit, they don't have a ton of power hitters, so it's like I would pitch around freaking their number 4 hitter. They have a couple guys that are pretty hot right now, so it's like they have one really good outfielder that's a pretty good power hitter. He usually hits cleanup for them, so I try to pitch around him a bit. But I mean, let your defense kind of do what it's done all season, I'd say. I mean, Rocchio and Jimenez are in the final last few votes for Golden Glove winners this year, so let them back you up. If you're not getting a lot of strikeouts, I wouldn't freak out. I would just try to get ground balls because the guys behind you can definitely back you up.
Yeah, for sure. And I do have optimism in terms of, you know, I guess a lot of the big talk is the starting pitching. Like I said, I have a bit of optimism. I did think I was looking here at the injury report. It says Alex Cobb's at least according to ESPN, his estimated return date would be October 5th, which is 2 days from now, which is the day of Game 1. Do you think we see him in this series?
He pitched a simulated game today. Yeah, he was pitching today. They were doing a simulated game at the ballpark, and he was the starting pitcher. So I think we'll see him. I don't think he's going to start, per se. I think he might be out of the bullpen. But then again, I really don't know. It's going to be kind of interesting because the starting pitching, like if we lose and we lose early, say this round, it's going to be because of the starting pitching, I think. Either that or we come out and just everybody looks like they've never hit a ball in their life because they had a week off. It's going to be one of those two things.
Yeah.
But, I mean, with the way he's been pitching down the stretch, I'd almost freaking throw him out there for like a game 3 or 4. Or even 2. Shit. I mean, I don't know. I hope they don't pitch Gavin Williams because he's been super shaky in the last few months. But
right.
I would use maybe Bybee and then Boyd and possibly a Cobb. Who's the other guy I'm forgetting? Lively. He's not going to start. He'll be in the bullpen. So, I mean, maybe those are your 4 guys. Maybe Cobb is 4th guy, or Gavin. But if we have to pitch Gavin more than once in a series, I don't like our chances too much. So we'll see, man. I mean, I think he might get the start. I have no idea who they're going to, like, I have a feeling they're going to call up maybe like a pitcher and maybe send down, like, I think there's a chance Sandlin gets sent down for another pitcher down there maybe. Or maybe they call McKenzie up or Carrasco to pitch out of the bullpen and call Sandlin down. And I think there's probably a good chance, hopefully, Schneemann gets sent down. Maybe call up like J-Rod or somebody that showed more potential. Or shit, even Chase DeLauder if he's healthy, just to have him on the bench or something.
Right. You know, when I look at this, the injury report, I also noticed another guy who has the same estimated return date as Alex Cobb. Obviously, I don't expect anything out of this, but James Karinchak, his expected return date is October 5th. So wouldn't that be some funny shit if he made his entrance into the season in the fucking Detroit series as a reliever? Obviously, that's very unlikely, but I just thought of that.
Yeah, it'd be wild. That would be wild. If our bullpen wasn't so good, I'd say there's a shot of that because he was really good like 2 years ago. But with our bullpen being so insane, I don't think there's really a spot for him anymore. I think you really need another guy like Pedro Avila who can kind of like, if you're up 6-0 or down 6-0, you can come in and eat innings. I think we need another one of those guys.
Yeah.
Because it used to be Xavier Curry, and he was absolute cheeks and a half, which we DFA'd him. So we need another guy that can kind of eat up innings.
Yeah, for sure. A fun thing I thought we could do for every playoff series. In theory, we play multiple. Going into this Detroit Tigers series, I'll do it as well. Who would you say is your biggest X factor player for the Guards in terms of their success in this series?
In this series, that's a good question. I would say. Oh, man, that's a tough one because I don't want to say Jose Ramirez and be bland. Jose is a beast. I mean, you kind of know what you're going to get with him. He's been a good playoff performer, so I'm not going to say him because I think he's going to be good anyways. I think I'm going to say Steven Kwan.
Ooh.
Because if he's your leadoff hitter who, granted, was injured for a good last chunk of the season, but when we were at our best, he was getting hits. He was hitting well over 300. He was getting on base. And for us to win, especially make a deep playoff run, he needs to be getting on base because if he's hitting first leadoff, which he should be, if he's getting on base, if he can steal bases or just get ahead of Jose, Josh Naylor, David Fry, and if he's on base, let these guys knock you in. Whether it's a home run, a double, whenever he's on base, we seem to score way more runs than we have been recently. So I would say Steven Kwan.
Right. No, I like that answer. He's definitely a guy who was, like you said, was killing it early on and kind of went in a slump towards the end of the year, but you never know. This could be the timing where going into the series, he all of a sudden, like a snap of the finger comes in, he starts hitting sub 400 again. So he's definitely interesting, and it is obviously really important for those leadoff guys, to get on base and set up.
Yeah,
puts
a lot of pressure on the pitcher and the defense if you're getting on leadoff every inning.
Yeah, I can only imagine how demoralizing it is as a starting pitcher. You go up, top of the first inning or bottom of the first, whichever you start, and your first 2 fucking batters you pitch at get singles and get on base, and now you have 2 on base, no outs, and then you're pitching to Jose Ramirez. So I can only imagine.
I mean, if you got even if Kwan gets on, it's like you got the way our lineup's been. You got Manzardo, Jose, and Naylor next. So it's like, well, fuck. I got the first guy on, no outs, and I have these 3 beasts up next.
Yeah, and speaking,
we'll kind of talk about that too, because whoops, what were you gonna say?
No, you're good. Let you finish your point.
Cool. I was gonna say when Skubal pitches, he is a left-hander, so I kind of worry a bit. I feel like Manzardo's not going to start that game. They might use him as a pinch hitter, but I'm like, part of me just has a feeling they're going to throw Noel out in right field because he's a right-handed hitter, and they're going to throw Fry at DH probably that game.
Well, speaking of
And
Manzardo,
then
since you
maybe
bring
once
him
you get
up,
into the bullpen, throw Manzardo.
okay, no, that's fair. But since we're talking about him, he actually was my X factor for this series, just because he was obviously he had a stint with the Guards earlier in the season, had a rough go of it at first, but then kind of became a double machine right before he got sent down. He was back in AAA for quite a while. Then we bring him back up late in the year, and he has been absolutely killing it. And we talk about we were talking a lot about, especially during that like mid-season slump, that it felt like the Guardians, it really felt like they needed a little bit more pop in that lineup, and I think he has supplied that. So with that, to me, if we can go into that series, if Manzardo can continue that momentum, and keep it going, and crank some homers, hit some doubles, break the game open a bit, that's really going to bode well for some success. But if he goes in and he struggles, like you're saying, against someone like a left-handed pitcher, like their ace is Scooble, if he goes in and struggles in those situations, then you never know, that could cause issues. Maybe your entire lineup goes into a funk just because now that's extra strikeouts you got going on, a whole can of worms that you don't want. So to me, he's kind of the big X factor, because I feel like if he plays really well, probably going to win, and at least in terms of getting points offensively, scoring runs. But if he really struggles, it could be kind of a scary thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good one, I think, too. We've kind of had a couple guys like that this year where, like, whenever we kind of sputter a bit on offense, we'll call somebody up and they'll have a really good couple weeks. Like you said, Manzardo to end off the year. We had, when we really had our first big funk, when the Twins were, like, tied with us at one point, basically, in what was it? I think at the beginning of September they were tied with us. But we called up John Kenzie, and he just went on a tear, like hit like 10 home runs in a month. So it's like we've had a couple of those guys where it's like when the season's in flux, we call somebody up and they've come through in big moments for us. So
yeah,
I could definitely see that with him.
Yeah, I feel like we've had a handful of guys have that happen. Like I remember Noel, like you said, Manzardo, what's his name, Angel Martinez. I feel like had that bit of time where he was playing
he had
well.
a really good couple weeks.
God, why am I forgetting? I feel like there's one more like bigger one that I cannot remember.
Schneeman was really good.
Oh,
for like
Schneeman,
3 weeks.
Schneeman. Yeah, well, he was like insane for the first few weeks he was here. And obviously Lane Thomas was a little bit different story. He was a trade, but he was another guy I was thinking of too for X Factor.
Yeah, he's going to be big, I think, against Scooble, because from what I'm reading or what I've read, they might go with a bullpen game for game one, because I don't know if they're dealing with injuries or what, or if their rotation's just in flux, but I know Scooble pitched in this past series, so if he's slated for game two and you have a bullpen game one, I think we can go out and hopefully grab that game. And then the Scooble game, like I kind of like the way we match up with Scooble compared to other teams. I mean, his ERA is insane. He's got I think it's like a 2 ERA or something, but he is a left-handed hitter, and we don't get to play David Fry a ton anymore because he really struggles against right-handed pitching. So throw him in there. Lane Thomas is really good against left-handed pitching. So we have those two guys. Jose, obviously, having your best hitter as a switch hitter is huge.
Yeah, I was
hit from either side of the plate.
Yeah, I was just about to say David Fry, because I know he does really well against lefties, which is natural for a right-handed batter. And then of course, like you said, it's really helpful when your best player can switch hit. So that's definitely bodes well for us against a great pitcher like that. So with that, it's a hard series to predict for me in terms of how long it goes, because I feel like I could see a situation where we sweep Detroit, but I could also see a situation where it comes right down to the wire. So I'm kind of curious of your thoughts, and I guess you can give your prediction here. How long do you think the series is going to go? And in theory, you think we win, which I think I know where you're going to go in that one. But how do you think this series is going to go?
I think it's going to be I think it'll go 4 games. I think we'll get both in Cleveland. I'm for whatever reason feeling uber confident in our second game. Like I just like the way we match up against Scooble. So I think we're going to get both games in Cleveland. I think we'll drop game 3 in Detroit because their backs are up against the wall. It's a must-win situation. So I think they'll win that. And then I think game 4 will come out and win. So I think we will win 3-1 in 4 games.
You are actually almost spot on to what I think. I also think we will win 3-1 in 4 games. However, I feel like, I don't know why, it's just a weird feeling. I feel like we're going to drop game 1. just because I feel like with the week off, I feel like we might have a bit of confidence.
Yeah, that's the one thing I worry about.
Yeah, we're decently heavily favored, and we're probably not gonna, have to go up against Scooble. So I do feel like that with that we could have a sense of overconfidence and go into that first game, and I could see us dropping it like something weird. It comes down to the end, we lose like 3-2, and then we're all kind of disappointed, but I feel like we'll get it together, go and beat Scooble, put on a good performance, and then win the next 2, win 3-1, and comfortably go into the next round. So that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, man. I mean, the first time, which is crazy, in over 2,000 games that we've played them in the postseason. So a big AL Central rivalry here, and the ALDS will be fun. I think there'll be sold-out fans, obviously, on both sides. Detroit's crowd's been insane the last few weeks, especially the last couple games when they've been in the playoffs, or obviously not at playoffs because they haven't hosted, but leading up to the playoffs when they finally clinched their wild card spot, they were insane. So I think it'll be crazy, man. I mean, it's a rivalry. I mean, maybe some bad blood there. I don't know, but it should be a hell of a series. It's going to be like Browns fucking Steelers in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, it could be. No. I feel like if we play the Yankees, that'll be Browns Steelers. This is like Browns. Yeah. This is like Browns Bengals, I'll say. Because
kind of like that.
Yeah, something like that.
We used to be in the same division as the Yankees back in the day, so we've had a long rivalry with them. We used to be in the AL East before they moved and created the AL Central and added the Twins and everything, or not the Twins, the Royals. So it's been a long-standing rivalry. So if we make it past them, I have a feeling that play. I don't think the Royals at this point, barring their first baseman continuing to absolutely light it up, I don't think they're going to be able to beat the Yankees.
Yeah, I definitely get what you're coming from.
I think they're like a year or two out from pretty good contention. They're definitely going to be there soon because that shortstop they have is an absolute menace. He might be the best player in the division for the next 5-10 years.
Yeah, for sure. But before we get out of here, I would like to do a little fun thing. I'm going to call it a lightning round, where I'm going to go in and holy moly.
What?
Wow. Well, I was just about to say I have the game cast on. The Brewers and the Mets are playing right now, and the Brewers were up 2-0 in the top of the ninth. But the Mets had 2 on base, and Alonso just homered, and they just took the lead 3-2 in the top of the ninth. So that's crazy.
Wow, that is nuts. If the Brewers lose, man, the Brewers are a good team. There's been a couple teams.
Yeah, they were a team I was worried about.
It's only 3 games. So the Astros lost, who are a big threat. The Orioles got swept, who are a big threat. If the Brewers lose, that's 3 big teams that are down right out of the gates.
Yeah,
that's the scary thing about playing in the wild card. That's why you want a 2 seed.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy that happened right when we're recording the podcast. I'm like, let me pull up this.
Alonso's been horrible, too. He's been horrendous. I've watched Mets fans complain about how awful he's been.
That was his first hit of the game. He was 0 for 3 at the start. Yep. But anyway, let's do a little lightning round.
Frank the Tank will be happy.
Yeah. God. I'm going to name off the 3 other series, and within seconds you got to give your prediction who's going to win. I'll give mine. So here we go. Let's go. Kansas City versus the Yankees.
Yankees.
I'm going to go Yankees as well. Now this is a weird one just because the game's not over yet, but we got the Phillies, and they're going to play either the Mets or the Brewers. So I guess, how do you feel about either of those matchups?
I think Philly's beating whoever. I don't think it really matters. They're too good.
I agree. Although, like you said, the Brewers are a little feisty, so I don't know. I feel like that could be a little upset there. But I'll agree. I'll agree.
They're gonna have to come back now.
Yeah, that is true.
An inning before their season's over.
Yeah, they're down 1. I might have to watch the rest of that game after we jump off here.
But then,
lastly, Padres Dodgers. I'm gonna go Dodgers with that one. Obviously, I think.
I'm gonna go Padres. I think Padres match up pretty well against them. They have the Manny Machado's an outstanding third baseman. Fernando Tatis is an X-factor, a guy that can fucking absolutely mash the ball. And I think the Padres starting pitching's quite a bit better. Kershaw is obviously not in the lineup anymore. He's old. One of their best guys of old. But I think I'd take the top 2-3 guys in the Padres starting lineup. So I'm going to go Padres.
Okay. I like it. Well, there you have it, folks. There's your thoughts on our Cleveland Guardians matchup against the Tigers, as well as a little quick first round or second round, I should say, prediction in the MLB playoffs. And yeah, we appreciate you guys for listening. We're excited to watch some playoff baseball this weekend going into next week. Hopefully Guardians come out with the dub and make us feel better than the Browns are currently making us feel. And then, hey, soon enough, the Cavs will be playing some basketball. So once again, we appreciate you guys for listening / watching. And we'll definitely have this video out, our Browns preview, and then our Browns post game. And then next week we'll have our thoughts on the Guards once this series is over. Hopefully jovial on both ends of that, but we shall see. And yeah, we will see you guys in the next one.
Gold takes from the land.